Yeah. Well, so what he wants to do now in this section on skepticism about our faculties is to say, now wait a minute. He says, we've obviously not given, someone might say, evolution a fair hearing. We've only ever so briefly mentioned why someone might be skeptical, right? Right. So he says, let's do the gracious thing and assume for now that it's true, right?
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, so we can, so, all right, yes, there's a possibility that it didn't happen, or at least we can be skeptical about it, but let's just assume that it's true. On this assumption, he says, what reason would we have to believe that our cognitive faculties, again, we're getting back to all of these things that we do, memory, sense perception, reason, those are the things that we were skeptical about before. What reason do we have that to believe that those faculties are reliable? That is, what reason will we have to believe that these mechanisms produce mostly true beliefs? Right? Because that's what we need to have in order for the science and all that kind of stuff to work. We need that, or at least some would suggest that. Right? Yeah, some would suggest.
So again, going back to our tornado in the junkyard, the plane's there, and all the computers are functional, all the wires are there, all the fuel comes about. Yeah. So think of this as the internal mechanism. All right, let's say that we believe the tornado, we believe the junkyard, we believe the airplane. Now, how can we even believe that it can get off the ground?
Yeah.
Okay, it might look like an airplane, but does it taste like an airplane?
That's right. In other words, would you get in?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, he says the obvious reason is clearly the obvious reason that we can believe that our faculties are at least mostly true beliefs, that they produce these beliefs, is that we're here, that we've survived, right? That that we're alive, right? And so he says survival then seems to require that true beliefs happen, and since the aim of natural selection is survival, usually only those genetic mutations that provide survival advantage are allowed through the filter, he says. Natural selection ensures that our cognitive faculties are reliable. All right, so there it is.
Yeah.
Reason why we can believe that these faculties, memory and reason and perception, sense perceptions are reliable is because we're here. Goodness knows, right? We have survived. We're alive.
It seems to work.
Yeah. Yeah. But he says there are reasons to think that survival doesn't require true beliefs.
And he's just a negative Nancy.
Yeah, wow,
right? Sets us up and knocks us down.
Yeah, so he wants. Let's pursue our skepticism, right? That's all he wants us to get. If you're saying you're skeptical, let's take it to its logical conclusions. Right. If we can be non-skeptical about logical conclusions, right? So he said, let's begin by noticing first that what matters for the survival of an organism is not beliefs.
Right.
What matters for the survival of an organism is the organism's behavior, right? No matter what I believe about the bus coming, if I step out in front of it, I will not survive. So my behavior, not my beliefs, he suggests, is what matters with regard to survival, right? And so that's the first thing. But here's the problem. Many organisms, perhaps most, he says, can do all the behavior stuff without any beliefs at all.
Right.
I mean, they don't need beliefs, right? Much less true beliefs. Viruses, bacteria, he says, for example, are remarkably successful at survival with nary a belief to be found.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the little flagella floating around.
Yeah.
The world's most complex motor just spinning there at 60,000 miles.
It does its thing. Yeah. Has no beliefs.
Yeah, no beliefs. Yeah. That we know of, I guess.
So beliefs aren't even needed for survival.
Right.
That's amazing. These viruses, bacteria, they don't have beliefs, as far as we know, and yet they're in fact, some would suggest that if something happened, they would still be here if we were wiped out.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the way that evolutionists or atheists talk about it's always you reach back into the furthest recesses of your brain, and there's your reptilian brain, and it just does things. And again, it's harkening back to this idea that this primitive ape, primitive person, even before that, your primitive ancestors like the reptiles just have these responses no beliefs, just I see a snake, I run away from the snake.
Right.
I see a chicken, I go eat the chicken. You just do things. Why am I doing this? Because of my reptilian brain.
That's right.
And so
programmed into
yeah, and so just somehow we
that.
have this autonomy, this consciousness to have beliefs on top of surviving, I guess.
Yeah. So beliefs aren't necessary for survival.
Right.
And secondly, true beliefs aren't necessary for survival, right? That's the second point, right? We don't need our beliefs to be truth. In fact, he quotes Patricia Churchland and says that she indicates truth, whatever that is, definitely takes the hindmost position with regard to survival, because we don't need true beliefs in order for survival. True beliefs, or any beliefs at all, he says, are a luxury and are superfluous bonus if survival is the real gold standard. You don't need beliefs, and you don't need true beliefs in order for survival. He says, at least if we're taking skepticism seriously, then, he says, these considerations undermine our confidence that evolution would require reliable faculties.
Yeah.
Right?
So I like the note that he has here at the bottom. Notice too that some mental illnesses, hallucinogenic drugs, and sleepwalking provides instances where people can successfully navigate the world with wildly false beliefs, or maybe even no beliefs at all.
Yeah.
You're sleepwalking, you survive.
Yeah.
Where are your beliefs in that?
Or you're on hallucinogenic drugs, right?
Yeah.
You have beliefs, but goodness knows.
Yeah, the walls are melting.
Yeah.
I have that belief. I believe it. I'm not going to go near melting walls.
Yeah.
I've survived.
Yeah.
So there are my